Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Well, welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. My name is Joseph Sangle. We are fired up to help you win with your money and to be able to fund your dreams, to fully fund them. That's why we call it a fully funded life. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Megan Hibbard. Are you fired up today?
Fired up. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. It is September 13th, 2021, when this podcast is releasing, Lord willing. And it's episode number?
167.
That's right, number 167. Can you believe it? 167. We're on our way
Wild.
to 200.
That's right.
And so today, we're going to continue a series that we've kind of been piecing together. It's not week after week. It's just intermittently in there. We're doing it through this year of 2021. And this series is how to teach your kids about, and it's a money topic. So tell everybody what we're going to talk about today.
Yes. So today we're talking about how to teach your kids about savings. So our question is, Joe and Megan, any tips on how to teach my children about saving money?
It's a good question.
We have tips.
And do they say how old their kids are?
They do not.
They do not. So they're kids. So they could be grown children. They could be, but I'm guessing that they're younger children still in the house. Children.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. So we're going to talk about that and give some tips. And of course, we want to hear from you. So if you're watching on YouTube, we'd love to hear the tips that you have that have helped you and be able to share them in the comments. Or if you're watching this via social media platform, you can share it there as well. Before we do dive into all those tips, we do want to go to one of my favorite parts of the podcast episodes. You know what time it is. Let's go.
Now it's time to get caught up with our current money events.
The Monday Money Tip Podcast is sponsored by the Fully Funded Life Membership Program. The Fully Funded Life Membership Program provides all you need to begin winning with money and live a fully funded life. Fully Funded Life includes 4 key components: courses, challenges, coaching, and community. Courses provide financial education. Challenges help you make massive progress in a specific money skill. Coaching is provided by the Fully Funded Life Certified Coaches through open office hours held multiple times each month. All of the courses, challenges, and coaching results in an outstanding community that help equip, motivate, and encourage you to take your next financial steps toward your fully funded life. Fully Funded Life, courses, challenges, coaching, community. All that's missing is you. Learn more and receive a special offer for Monday Money Tip listeners today at fullyfunded.life/MMT. That's www.fullyfunded.life/MMT.
So that's right. The current money event section has begun, and we are going to talk today about student loan debt. Here's the headline: student loan debt soars since 2003. And 2003 was a little while ago.
It was
It's like 18 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been amazing. The percent change in total household debt balance since 2003, adjusted for inflation. Well, credit card debt, believe it or not, has went down 15%. Is that amazing?
Yeah.
Housing debt, well, that's went up 40%. And auto loans have went up 40%. I can believe all those.
Yeah.
Student loans, up 356%. Yowzers.
It's a lot.
Here's the headlines from the article. I'll have a link to this. This is from the New York Fed and the Wall Street Journal and Equifax. Here's some lines from the article. Student loan debt is at an all-time high in the U.S., growing at an unprecedented rate over the past 2 decades.
Yeah. Everybody loves the unprecedented word.
New data shows just how student debt has outpaced other household debt like home, auto, and credit card. So student loan debt is just outracing it. Why is that happening? I'm going to tell you some reasons why that's happening, by the way. This is Joe Sangle's thoughts and Joe Sangle's facts, reminding you of this great part of Calvin and Hobbes. You remember the tiger, Hobbes, Calvin and Hobbes? Do you remember that?
The cartoon?
The cartoon? And the tiger is sitting there, and he's like, I'm done with this report. And Calvin says, well, you only have one fact, and you made that one up. And Hobbes was like, yeah, I just need to write a couple paragraphs, and we'll call it good.
Oh,
but anyhow, these are Joe Sangle's facts, and I'm stating them as fact because, I think sometimes you don't even need a study to know what fact is. This is facts. The fact is, most American households have saved little to no money for their children's college. As a result, their child borrows almost all of their tuition, housing, room and board costs. As a result of that, students are much less informed as to the cost of debt. And they want to go to their college, and they don't get aggressive always on graduating. The statistics show they don't all graduate in 4 years. And as a result, they go an extra half year, extra year, year and a half. They finance it too. They don't get any extra education out of it, really. And as a result, they make poorer decisions about what type of debt they sign up for, how much debt they acquire, and have no idea what it's like to repay it.
Yeah.
That's Joe Sengel's facts that don't need research. They're just facts. All right. You like how I'm saying that? It's fun.
Yep.
In the current money events section, the article continues on saying, in data facts from the New York Fed Consumer Credit Panel compiled by the Wall Street Journal, student loan debt in the U.S. has surged by 350% the last 17 years. That's nearly 10 times higher than the 40% increases in auto loans and mortgage debt. Woo! The one bright spot of good news shows how credit card debt has scaled back slightly by 15% since 2003. So I'm just going to say this, 10 times higher than the 40% increases in auto loans. But at least that student loan doesn't rust. It's like crazy. Anyhow, the astronomical increase in student loan debt coincides with skyrocketing public and private university tuition over the same time period. They wrote that. The loan debt is in perfect concert going up and to the right with the cost of college. Isn't that amazing? I'm glad they wrote that. Despite a society that essentially demands high school graduates obtain a college or trade school degree for most jobs. Now, this tells you the angle of the writer. They're basically saying we're victims. We all have to go to college. That is untrue.
Yeah.
There's many great jobs that you don't have to go to college for. As they continue on, though, even though I'm arguing with them, most jobs, tuition, room and board, and other college expenses only continue to go up each year. Well, what did you expect? You think they would go down? That's my thoughts. Continue the article. For public universities, many are forced to increase tuition due to educational budget cuts at the state government level. So it's amazing that college has to function, on its own standing instead of with governmental support and subsidies. And for private universities, an ever-increasing level of competition makes it relatively easy to continue raising tuition prices. Now, that I just want to argue with that statement all day long. They're basically saying it's easy for private universities to continue raising tuition prices. It is not easy for them because they don't get subsidies. And that is why you see unbelievable numbers of liberal arts colleges failing. They just cannot do it. And it's why I'm so proud of our local university, Anderson University, which has more than quadrupled in size since I first moved here 22 years ago, because they have had visionary leadership who said, if you're not growing, you're dying. And they have embarked on an excellent growth path that has allowed it to prosper. My daughter is going to graduate from there this year, Lord willing. So it finishes, the article says, in total, it's reported that U.S. college students and graduates have approximately $1.5 trillion in combined student debt. This is a problem. Student loan debt literally chokes out students' plans, hopes, and dreams. If you have a student in your life, and since we're going to be talking about helping kids here today, one of the things I really want to encourage you to do is to start saving money now right where you're at. If you want to help them with college, and by the way, you are not required to do that. That's your choice. And parents can make both choices to help or not help. You know your child better than anybody on what will motivate them to get in there and get out of there. But here's what I would just tell you. If you want to help, start saving money now. Start with your state's 529 plan. If your state doesn't have a 529 plan, we'll have a link to all the 529 plans and how I've written about them. Go choose a state that does have a 529 plan. Start saving now. Even if it's $25 a month, $50 a month, $100 a month, $200 a month, whatever you can do. I've never had somebody say, I really regret saving too much for my kids' college. The second thing I would do is start the conversation with your student right now so that they know how much college costs, and helping them understand that in no way in your household are you going to allow them to graduate owing enormous amounts of student loan debt. So encourage them to go to if they're going to go to college, go to a community college for the first couple of years and then transfer to the big university. It's a way of reducing the cost by 80% usually. Also, I encourage you, listen to the episodes that we've written about college. And you can go back and look, and we'll look in the show notes and put some links there for you. But here's what I would tell you more than anything. Be a part of the solution. And the solution is educating these students about the true cost of college, the true cost of paying back debt, and how it's going to help them or hurt them. And one last thing, make sure they get a degree they can actually use. We don't want to pay for a 4-year vacation. We want to pay to become unbelievably great at the thing they're called or want to do with their life. The beautiful thing in America, we get to choose what we want to do. The negative part of that is sometimes when we're young, we wander and we don't have clear direction. Help your child, your student, have that direction. And that's it for today's current money events section.
Yes.
That was rowdy, I think. I was a little rowdy.
Yeah. We
Did
also
you like
have
it? Rowdy?
Rowdy. I like the word rowdy.
Okay.
We also have a college calculator that can help you figure out how much you should save each month for your college. Your child's college education takes into factor how old they are, when they're going to go to college, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
it's great.
And I'm pumped to say, I will cry about this come next year, but my daughter's going to graduate owing no debt.
It's great.
Yep. And so we've achieved the dream that we had when we wrote it down way back then.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Pretty awesome. We started saving when she was 4. That's when we had started our journey financially. Pumped up about that.
All right. Our success story today is from Lois, and it's a member of our Fully Funded Life community. And last month, we reached out to some of our members just to touch base with them, see how they're doing, different hopes and dreams they've accomplished, and that kind of stuff, different goals. And she said, Fully Funded Life is so much more than we expected when we signed up. Since joining, they were able to set up an emergency fund. They had some unexpected life events in the last few months and expenses associated with them. And not only did they actually have a savings account at the time, but they had extra money, so they were able to pay their bills without having to dip into savings.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Lois, congratulations. Number one, thanks for being a part of Fully Funded Life. And, it says we reached out to them. That's because we value the 4 C's. Coaching is part of it, right?
Yep.
One-on-one help and challenges. We're in the middle of a spending challenge right now as this podcast is released. And also we have courses for knowledge. But the 4th C is community. And so how do you build good community? Reaching out to your neighbors. And Lois is one of our neighbors in the Fully Funded Life community and was able to share with us these details of having an emergency fund set up, being able to absorb these unexpected life events. And she knows how good it feels to have money saved for the event, that if she had not taken this first step, she would be pulling out the credit card again.
Yeah.
And being able to have a bit of extra money so that they were able to pay their bills without having to dip into that savings. I remember that feeling like it was yesterday. It is the greatest feeling ever. And so Lois, thanks for sharing that with us. We're committed to the success of our members and to all of you who are faithful listeners to the Monday Money Tip podcast. So excited about your progress.
All right. So our featured question for today says, Joe and Megan, any tips on how to teach my children about saving money?
And we do have tips, don't we?
Convenient.
Well, yes, conveniently. We do have some tips. And we're going to kind of maybe put them in big buckets, really, because we could give you 25 things to do.
Yeah.
And that might be helpful. But this isn't a whole curriculum. This podcast isn't. But what we wanted to do in the 10 minutes or so that we have remaining here is to be able to share with you, some tips on teaching your kids about saving money. So maybe share the first tip with them, Megan.
Yes. So tip number 1 is model it.
Right. Why should we model it?
I mean, I think it's...
Why is it important to model it?
I think it's important mainly because that's how a lot of kids learn. So they learn by they see it. So even in Logan and I's relationship, when we go to the store, he knows, or I'm teaching him, mommy puts her credit card in to pay for the groceries, but that's because we have money to pay for it, and it's the things of, well, you might want that right now. Well, okay, let's work to save for it. It was so precious. He got 2 quarters. He was so excited. He said, Mommy, I go by tractor. And like for him, he thinks 50 cents can buy him a tractor, and maybe a little tiny one it can. But teaching him like, okay, buddy, well, let's save that money, and that way one day we could buy, he
can come ride my tractor. We should get him to come ride the John Deere tractor.
Love that.
Yeah, but so that's awesome. You're modeling it, and I'm reminded of a country song. You like country music?
I do.
Yeah, and so do you remember the song? Hey, I've been watching you.
Yes.
Hey, ain't that cool? I want to be like you.
Yeah.
I'm your buckaroo. That song,
yep.
that song, and you're talking about it. It's a really touching country song, a really neat song. I forget who sang it, but the whole key is, I think it's Tim McGraw maybe. And no, that's not true. Okay, well, somebody can tell us in the show notes. They'll correct us. I'm just going to say Kenny Chesney sang it. I know that's not right.
Not Kenny
but
Chesney.
the whole key is that we're talking about modeling it because our kids absolutely mirror. They are mirrors. Anybody who has children has seen their child climb up into a chair and sit like their dad or their mom. Mm-hmm. You've seen them. You see grown children walking next to their parent, and they walk the same.
Yeah,
like they learn from observation. And I would just say to everybody listening, if you're not modeling wise financial behavior, I mean, you can't hope for your kids to really catch this. The only way they'll catch it is to be totally rebellious against what you've modeled for them. And so you're listening to this podcast, the chances are you're probably not modeling poor financial behavior. But there's absolutely no substitute for modeling this, because when we're talking about teaching your kids to save money, you've got to invite your kids into that journey. And it is a journey of saving. You talk about 2 quarters and saving up for a tractor. Does he think a real tractor, like a lawnmower type tractor, or like in the field tractor? Or is he thinking a toy tractor?
No, I think he's thinking the real tractor.
Okay, yeah, an engine, with an engine.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. A lot of people, they don't like saving money because it causes delayed gratification.
Yeah.
And we don't like delayed gratification, and that's why I just kind of phrased it as the journey of saving. Because those 50 cents are the start of a long journey to a full John Deere. I have the same story. I remember I was just recounting this on Sunday night with my son. We're helping with an Eagle Scout project. And in this Eagle Scout project, we're building an outdoor shelter for I think it's a VFW. And we're building this structure. And what I think is interesting about this structure is, none of us know what's going on. I mean, I know how to build something, but I don't have any of the equipment. And we're leaving it, me and my son, after 6 hours of construction. It's actually 7th hour. And we drive past the local airport here. It's near the airport. And I said, son, do you know how many times as a toddler we drove past here? And he's like, I don't know. I said, it had to be 100 times, because as a helicopter, that's what he called a helicopter, and a pop tractor would be mowing, or an airplane. And one time, I've got this on video, he had 7 pennies in his hands, and he held it out and said, "Let go buy a helicopter." and I said to him, that 7 cents plus 1,000 years in compound interest, we can probably go buy a helicopter. and it's really just teaching it, right? Even when they're really little.
Yeah.
Logan is really little. He's not going to always be little.
I know.
Did you know that?
So sad.
My son had his back to school photo taken. He's in middle school, and he's a grown man. He's unbelievable. He's like as tall as the door. But so what I want you to know is, as you're modeling this for your kids, don't be chief no fun or be in the boring zone. If you talk about saving as, well, we just got to save and you just have to be patient, and you say it that way, they're going to pick up on your phrasing and your tone and intonation of it. But you got to say, hey, isn't this exciting? We're going to put this in the piggy bank. Let's go put it in the piggy bank, right? And this is going to be awesome. And they put it in there and clink, clink. Oh, good job. Woo. That's when they're younger. And we've done this for our kids ever since they were infants. And guess what happens now? Because we model give, save, invest, plan the rest. GSIPTR, give, save, invest, plan the rest. It rhymes if you say it right, But because we model that, guess what happens when they get birthday money now? They immediately, if they get a $20 bill, they're asking us for change so they can split it up automatically. They don't even know that other people don't do that. They just say, well, that's just, because your world is smaller when you're a kid. And this is where you can form and shape them and help them learn valuable lifelong money skills, help them eliminate one of the number one causes of divorce in America that destroys relationships both in marriage and in workplaces and in businesses. And you can teach them this stuff. So if they're 7 or 8, well, then you hand them the money and let them split it. When they're 15, you're doing check-ins. How much money you got saved up? And so I just really encourage you to think about this: give, save, invest, plan the rest. What does that mean? You got to give some, save some. Savings for unknown, unexpected stuff. It's saving for known upcoming expenses like birthday gifts for each other, Christmas gifts. And it's also investing. So planning for that longer term thing. Maybe it's for their college. Maybe it's for their first house. Something that's way off in the future. And it gives them a mind's eye to look farther than tomorrow. And as they age, and every parent knows as their child matures emotionally and knowledge-wise, put layers on it and live some of your own experience of saving out loud in front of them. And it's interesting for you to consider, right? Yeah. Logan's how old now?
2.5.
He's 2.5. That was fast.
It was fast.
9 more iterations of that.
No.
Yeah, he's going to be 22.
Why would you do that?
9 times 2.5, somewhere around 22, right?
Why would you do that?
And what do you want? If you want to have some energy, some fuel for saying, I'm going to stop and pause, and when I have a budget and I've went and withdrawn cash for the things I'm going to spend money on, and I'm going to save some, pause and invite them into that journey. Let them see how much money it takes to run a household. And it helps you say, that's why mom and dad are more irritated when we ask you to do a simple thing like take out the garbage, because we know we just spent $452 on your football gear. And mom and dad had about 98 other places they wanted to spend their $452. One of the places was saving. But we saved. That allowed us to buy this and invite them into that journey. So you got to model it. We've taken a lot of time on this, but I want every person to listen to the podcast to ask the question of yourself. If you're driving the car, you're watching this on YouTube, whatever it is, how well are you modeling saving money for your kids? I didn't ask how well are you saving. I'm asking you how well are you inviting your children into the journey of it? And if you do that, these other 2 things we're going to share on how to teach your kids about saving, well, they'll naturally fall in. So tell everybody what the second one is.
Yeah, so the second one is provide opportunities to develop personal experience.
Right. So eventually, your child, you would really like them to get off your payroll.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I set up a meeting with my daughter. She came over to the office. We sat down. She wants to be off the payroll. Now, granted, she don't want to be off the payroll too soon. She wants college fully paid for. She wants to have a chance to go get a job when she gets out. And so I said, we're going to have a meeting and we're going to talk about you being totally financially independent. And she's an independent woman. I mean, she will let the whole world know about it. And so she came in here and we sat down and we've got the plan. And we're following it month by month. And I am glad to say in under a year, my daughter will be financially independent. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Right? And you know what? That's the right timing. And she'll have a paid for college degree, Lord willing. And she will have a house already. She already has a house, which is amazing. And no debt. That's a pretty good setup. But I believe part of this started, the genesis of this story that I'm sharing started when she was in first grade. And through kindergarten, first grade, she had been saving money. This is early first grade. And she had been saving coins and money. And from time to time, she would do little odd jobs around the house and I would let her earn money. And she wanted a purple Care Bear. She fell in love with it at this Walmart. And I'll never forget going to the Walmart, and I didn't cash in any of the coins. I really regretted that part because we had stacks on stacks of coins, and we stood there and let her count out. It was under $20, but it was close to $20. This beautiful purple Care Bear, and just seeing the pride in my daughter's heart of saying, I paid for this with my money, and the purple Care Bear. and holding up the line. You know, we were those people at Walmart holding up the line and saying sorry to the people behind. But I'm really not sorry, because saving money and keeping it, if you start them young and they learn the joy of the payoff, it's hugely valuable. And so, you know, it develops other key life skills. Share with us some of the life skills that saving money and that personal experience helps them develop.
Yeah. Does she still have the Care Bear?
I believe she does.
Okay, that's good. All right.
She has a lot of, what do they call them? Loveys or little stuffies?
Stuffed animals.
The loveys and stuffies is
Loveys
what
and
my
stuffies.
youngest daughter calls them right now. And she's 8.
Okay. All right. So the key life skills will be perseverance, diligence, self-control, delayed gratification, personal motivation, goal setting, planning, personal discipline, to name a few.
Yeah. So if you think about that, do you want Logan to have perseverance?
Yeah.
Podcast listener, do you want your child to exhibit self-control? Sign me up. You want him to learn the value of delaying gratification? Do you want him to be personally motivated? Do you want him to learn how to set a goal and achieve it? Do you want him to have personal discipline? All of these sound amazing to me.
Yeah.
And I think when I look at, you know, my children and I see them not doing what I want them to do, you know, children won't always do what you want them to do. That's not the hope.
That is true.
But I see them exhibiting positive character traits that I know will benefit them and the people they come in contact with the rest of their life. You know, Megan, you are extraordinarily gifted in planning.
Thank you.
I mean, one of the things we know when we have a meeting, we're planning, you know, we're going to put together a new course for Fully Funded Life. And I'm casting the vision for all this stuff. Very quickly, you bring it down to the details, the plans. How did you learn to become a planner? Who in your life modeled it for you?
My dad is a big planner. But then I think also like just different jobs I've had or like classes in school and homework. There's different things like that where I needed a plan so I knew I could get everything done and I could do it in a timely manner and how to know what to start on and prioritizing things. I think it's definitely something that I have worked on and learned and I'm trying to like perfect and get better at it. But I think a lot of it took seeing like, for instance, like seeing like my dad model it, but then also like working and practicing and then learning that like, and learning lessons of like some things didn't happen. And, you know, that's life lessons you have to learn of like, okay, well, this didn't happen. How could I plan better for next time? Or I didn't get to this. How can I plan better? Or like us having conversations of these are the things that need to happen. Here are the 18 things I'm working on. What do you want me to work on first?
Yeah, what's going to get shoved off?
Yeah, like conversations. And I think it's like having that open communication with your child in the situation, talking about saving, you know, and learning that skill, you know, having that conversation with them and teaching them and like allowing them opportunities. Okay, like if you have a chore list, here's your chore list. What things do you feel like do you need to do first? Or like, okay, this Saturday it's chore day. Like, how can you plan your day out?
So I would just say to everybody listening to the podcast, you know, what age is your child? If your child is very young, meaning first grade or younger, here's a simple practical application. They want something. No doubt they want something. Take a picture of it or print it out on your phone, cut it out of a magazine, print it out of Amazon, whatever it is, and put it on the refrigerator where they see it all the time. And have like a thermometer where they can save until, hey, they've achieved that amount.
Yeah.
As they get older, you can and make sure that's a shorter term goal. You want to make sure it's something they can achieve within a couple months max, because you want them to see this practical discipline reward cycle, delayed gratification reward cycle. As they get older, if they're in that second grade on up to middle school age, hey, it can be a little longer term goal, maybe 6 months, and give them jobs so that they can produce income and learn that work equals money and don't work equals don't get money. And set a goal again. It doesn't have to be a picture because they're going to know what it was. and you can point it out, reference it regularly, ask what their progress is, and make them write it down so they can keep track of where they're at. And then as they get older, I've found that it's better to start handing off expenses to the child. So I handed off Christmas savings, birthday gifts, buying, school lunch money, buying your own clothes, replacing your tennis shoes. My daughter was a runner. And at about 14, I just gave her a monthly amount and said, you're responsible for all that. And every month had to sit down with a budget that had give, save, invest, plan the rest in it. And it allowed her to have failures in the household and allowed us to have these moments once a month to come back and have a conversation. And so those are just 3 practical things based on the age of your children that I think can help each of our podcast listeners. So let's talk about our final one. We got to model it. We got to provide opportunities for them to develop personal experiences. What's the third one?
Yep. So the third one you kind of just touched on, but it's make it visual. So whether you're cutting out that item, you're putting it on the refrigerator, or we have like saving spectaculars that you can print off our website that you're using so your child can visually see, this is the product that I want. Here's the progress that I'm making. I need this many more squares colored in, or in thermometer, I need to achieve this much more of it, and then I can like purchase the item.
Yeah, and so this visual thing, so our refrigerators kind of always have that, and I really do recommend Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace Junior Kit. It's a great kit. We can link to it. You can buy it on Amazon or through a store. But it really is really good at tracking chores and where they can earn money when they're younger. And they also have a little clip on there where you can put the thing they're saving for. So it gives them that motivation, that energy. Dave Ramsey's books, children's books, they has a very good one that teaches the power of saving. He has one for giving, and very good. But I would also just say this, when you're talking about making it visual, that we said GSI PTR. So give, save, invest, plan the rest. The investing part is important. Then I would encourage you to set up a custodial investment account for your kids. My 2 kids still in the house have one. My oldest daughter had one when she was 18. It became hers, depending on the laws in your state. Different ages, 18, 19, and 21, it will become theirs completely. But it allows them to invest. And so my son and my daughter, who are, my daughter's almost 8. I said she was 8 earlier. She's almost 8. And an 11-year-old, they've invested in stocks. Schwab and all these others allow you to invest in stock slices, and it's for their car funds. And so as they are getting closer and closer to that car fund, man, they've seen that money grow, birthday money, Christmas money they've earned, that money they budgeted, and they're starting to think. And I see my 11-year-old, he's starting to think, about what truck he wants, And so we have a thing in our house to motivate them, which is we have a 401j. So it stands for Joe and Jen. So similar to a 401k, the 401j, whatever money they save toward a car, we will match dollar for dollar for that car.
Yeah.
So I remember my daughter, she managed to accrue $3,300. And I had to write the check, $3,300 to match it up. And she spent $6,000 on her first car, Ford Escape, that did amazing for the first 3 years till she ran off the road at 15 miles an hour. And unfortunately, it was a deep ditch, and she hit a concrete ditch and blew the bottom of the car off. And that was the end of that one. But here's what I would tell you. That car happened, and she was it was an excellent moment for her to say, wow, I've saved for this and invested for this long off dream since I was a little girl. And now I'm driving the benefit of it. And that's what motivated her toward the house. And so I really encourage you to model this for your children. Provide those opportunities to develop personal experience in giving, saving, which this episode is about, investing, which is longer term saving, and planning the rest. And they will learn those key life skills, make it visual so they'll have fun with it. And I'm telling you right now, I think you'll be so glad you did that. So tell everybody what our quote is for today.
Yes, our quote is from Benjamin Franklin, and it says, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest.
And there you go. And that's why you've invested in this podcast today. Hey, we're so honored to be able to serve you in this journey. If you have not checked out Fully Funded Life, can I encourage you to check it out right now? We have a link in the show notes, fullyfunded.life. There's a special offer for podcast listeners there that you can check out, and it gives you access to it at a way lower price than you're probably thinking it is. And you'll get access to all of our courses, all of our challenges, the coaching, the one-on-one coaching with me and members of our team, and yes, our community. And if you like today's episode, please help us get this podcast to other people who can benefit. You can do this quickly by rating our podcast, leaving a review. If you're watching on YouTube, click the subscribe button, leave a comment below. Do you disagree? Hey, share a tip that has helped you teach your kids about saving. We'll be glad to share your information with our community. What are we going to talk about next episode?
Yes. So the next episode, we're going to have a success story from one of our great friends, Pastor Marty Schmidt. And I think it's going to be a really great episode that's going to be super helpful for a lot of you. He has a great story, a great success story that we can't wait to share.
How can you be a leader of a nonprofit and win with your money?
Yeah.
We're going to help you with that. So, hey, it's Monday. It's a great time to do one positive thing with your finances. Think about how you can help your kids learn about the power of saving and then take action with it. Hey, make it a profitable one. We'll see you next week right here at the Monday Money Tip Podcast. Get fired up.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.